You are now tuned in to Peach State TV, where any gym is home. www.peachstatehoops.com. Enjoy the show. And we're back here on another episode of InsideTheJumpOffPlus.com Today Show. Familiar face here to my left, National Evaluator co-host Keil Moore. Unfamiliar face here to my right, but it should be trainer, renowned here in the Atlanta area. Jermale Wilkerson actually worked with Maya Moore for a good bit. Worked on a lot of different stuff, perimeter-wise, whether also actually worked on the jumping ability and the ability to be able to dunk it, coming off of 1 or 2 feet, as Mel was quite the player back in his day. Thanks for being on the show today, man.
Anytime, brother.
Hey, man, good to have you here. We're going to have a quick little debate, discussion, whatever y'all want to call it. Knowing these two guys is probably going to turn into a debate, man. I'm going to sit there and be the moderator. Talking about the National Player of the Year race. You know, obviously you've got some usual suspects, Tina Charles, Maya Moore in the mix. You know, a couple of kids have kind of broken through the mold and jumped into the race themselves. Monica Wright from Virginia, Andrea Riley from Oklahoma State. Mel, who do you think should be the National Player of the Year, man?
I got 2 words for you. Maya Moore.
Oh, Maya Moore. You heard it here first. Maya Moore. Keil, who you going with, man?
I've got to go with Andrea Riley.
A little different pick right here, man. Jermale, tell us why Maya.
I would say this: men lie, women lie, numbers don't, America. They don't lie. The best player on the best team of America is that simple.
That's simple. Opening, closing, done right there. Numbers don't lie, man. Keil, come back with us. I know you got some numbers for us, so talk to us some numbers, man.
You want to talk numbers, we can talk numbers. We'll start off with points per game. Andrea Riley's averaging 27. Maya Moore's averaging 18. Let's go to assists. Andrea Riley's averaging 7. Maya Moore's averaging 1.8. Let's go with rebounds. Moore's beating her there, but Riley's 5'10". I'm sorry, 5'7". Riley's got 3.4. Moore's got 7 point something. I don't know.
7.8. We give it 8.
We go 7.8. We go 8 if you like to. We go 8 if you like to. Now let's talk about impact to their team. You can take Maya Moore for most games. I'd say half of UConn schedule. You can take Maya Moore and park her next to Gino Auriemma. They still gonna win.
Is that Maya's fault?
It's not, but we're talking about the National Player of the Year.
So the question becomes then, Jermale, when you talk about the numbers there, what's the number that matters the most to you? I mean, as a former trainer,
it's the big 0 in the loss column. That's the number that matters to me. They haven't lost. She's a player of the year last year. You have to do something to beat that.
That's tough. Man, what has Riley done in terms of Oklahoma State's resume, and obviously what she's done to impact that resume? I know last year, you went with Angel McCoughtry from Louisville. So talk to us a little bit about maybe the similarities and why you're going with the kid not on the UConn roster and what that kind of means, what they mean to each of their teams.
If you're watching this video, pause it. Open a new tab. Search for Peach State TV again and watch the conversation we had last year this time about Angel McCoughtry. Now, open another tab and look at where they are in the standings. And I love Louisville. I'm a big Louisville fan. Angel McCoughtry was a big piece of their success last season, and she took them to the Final Four in the final game. Now please hit play and play this part when I explain to you that Andrea Riley's impact on Oklahoma State is equal to, if not maybe even greater than the impact of Angel McCoughtry on Louisville last year. You take Andrea Riley off that team, they're at the bottom of the league.
So you're telling me UConn without Maya Moore is going to be undefeated?
Yes.
That's a great, compelling argument. I do want to inject here in the middle of this, though, obviously with the Louisville case, you got a great point there with Angel McCoughtry. Unfortunately, obviously, Coach Jeff Walls and them have had some unexpected injuries too, losing Desiree Bird. Some of the kids they have returned, Monique Reed's played well for them. They're having to play a walk-on at the point. Yeah, so they've been a little decimated, obviously, through the graduation of McCoughtry, who was actually in the shooting star competition the other night during All-Star Weekend. Looked good, had a great season with the Dream. Saw her a couple times.
Rookie of the year.
Exactly. So, you're losing a lot there.
Adding to my argument.
But you've also lost some people through some injuries, so I don't want it to seem as if the problems that they're going through there in Louisville are strictly and solely based on the departure there of McCoughtry. But I do you make a valid point. Come back with us, man. Talk to us a little bit about why Moore is so important. Do you think Moore would have the same impact if she was at Oklahoma State and Riley was at UConn? Is that a question?
Let's address that a little. If she was at Oklahoma State. I think he pointed at me though, bro. Just messing around. My thing with Maya is we haven't talked about how she changed positions this year either. Because they're down at the 4 position. She's not on the wing no more.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a big fact. Point well taken. I think on the counter of that, to make sure we give you an opportunity to speak to it. if Riley moved to UConn, Moore moves to Oklahoma State, does Riley have a larger impact on UConn's team this year, especially a UConn team that maybe going into the year was a little bit short at the point, so to speak? Doty, Hayes, they've done a great job of kind of filling those gaps and those voids, but does Riley come in and make the same or more impact for UConn than Maya Moore has been able to make?
I think the premise of your question is important because I think we lose track of what the award is. I think the award goes to the person who's had the best season and made the most impact in that season.
Yep.
And I think that Maya Moore is without a doubt the best player. I mean, I think Riley, Monica Wright, I think Tina Charles are all in that conversation.
Sure.
But I think Maya Moore comes out as the best player. Mm-hmm. I think Riley, along with Wright, but I give the nod to Riley even more, has had the best season of anybody in basketball.
Sure, well, I agree. I think a lot of the times, and kind of closing it out, I think when you look at the discussion of player of the year or most valuable player, a lot of times we do get caught in a crosshair of numbers, but also wanting to reward the player who plays for the best team. Same thing even with the Heisman Trophy in football and some of those things, where I feel like in this particular case, Maya Moore has obviously put together a solid year. Numbers might not be the same as last year, but I think the domination of her team has contributed to that. But on the flip side of that, can you negatively impact a kid like Andrea Riley, who's had to put up numbers and has done a great job of doing so? So I think, in terms of flipping the coin on it, I think either way you go, you're going to be in great shape, man. It kind of turning our attention a little bit from that National Player of the Year debate to more of an individual type thing moving forward is, what do you guys see at the next level in terms of how good is UConn? Are they good enough to actually beat a team that's currently in the WNBA? Do you think that they're that good? I mean, are they that good?
Easily.
No
problem.
That's what happens when you win. And you get the vote of Jermale Wilkerson when you win.
You always get a winner here.
That's good stuff. What do you think, Kyle?
I think the first six can play with the WNBA team. Okay. You look at Tina Charles, I think obviously number 1 or 2 pick in the WNBA draft. Moore would probably take over and probably be the number 1 pick if she came out, with Charles moving to 2 or 3. So, you're talking about players that will make an impact at that level. The first 6 can play with the WNBA team. I think, you start talking about being older, being stronger, and those things, being in more better shape, those things playing an impact. But I think, you can talk about that first 6. That'd be a good little pickup.
I'd agree with you on that, especially with the way that Hayes has played. I do think, obviously, Dixon would have to play well because they would need that point presence. All the teams in the league, obviously, with the consolidation, 11 players on the roster, 13 teams, you're going to get great point guard play no matter where it is you go, no matter who it is you look at, playoff team, non-playoff team.
Now, if you put Renee Montgomery back with UConn, I'm taking UConn.
If you put Renee Montgomery back with UConn, I'm going to be a volunteer assistant. I'm going to be straight up. I'm going to work with Coach Gino to help coach that team. That's good stuff. Well, last but not least, Jermale, as a trainer here in the Atlanta area, who do you see coming forward, not necessarily with the national impact of a Maya Moore, but in terms of a couple of BCS level, high level kids? Who are the best couple of kids you know coming through the Atlanta area over this?
I like the kid from Buford Davis.
Okay, gotcha. Definitely.
And from Norcross, Davis and the Shields.
Yeah, I would agree with both of them. You had a chance. We watched them this summer at a couple of the events that.
Right.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, I definitely would agree with that. Well, as always, Jermale Wilkerson, once again, I want to thank you for your time. Hopefully, you'll come in and be a regular. Great spirited discussion there. Kyle, any parting words there, man?
And if you got to vote for National Player of the Year, just at least consider Andrea Riley or Monica Wright. I love Maya Moore. She can get it next year. She already has one. Give her the Tim Tebow rule. Maybe give Tim Tebow another one. The other Tim Tebow rule.
Spoken like a true Florida Gator right there. Spoken like a true Gator. Well, on the way out, I think I'm going to take the field. I'm going to take Charles, Monica Wright, the couple of people I think in the discussion that we left off. He can have Moore. He can have Riley. 25%, 25%. I'm going to take the 50%. I'm going to take Charles.
Be hard to Wright.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just being smart. I'm going to let y'all argue and take what's left, man. Closing thought, can anybody beat UConn in college basketball?
Not this year. I don't believe so. How about you?
Stanford on a neutral court would be interesting, but it's going to be tough. The play in the neck of Ogumake would be important there.
I would agree with both y'all fellas. I think, You know, until beating it's tough, but definitely Stanford has a front court play, and you know, maybe an athlete away in the back court, but definitely would be a compelling game to watch on April 4th or whenever that would be. I know I'm excited to be down in San Antonio. We'll be there. All right. Make sure both those teams are there too. On the way out, any gym is home. Thank you for tuning in. Jermale Wilkerson, Keil. As always, we appreciate it.